Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cool Chess podcast. This is your boy Tawoho. I'm with Dante. Big up, bro. Big up, bro. How are you?
Yeah, big up Tobago. Big up everyone in the chat. Yeah, good. Just trying to get my sleeping pattern organized again because, yeah, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, I understand, bro. I understand, especially after staying in Saudi Arabia for a while. So it's so hard for you to manage your sleeping hours. So you need to adjust and everything.
Yeah, different time zones, it's all different. So I got home, I was so tired, I slept like 14 hours straight. But that really screwed me around because it was the wrong time. So, yeah, I've got to get used to it slowly. Back again.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, if you're watching, please kindly subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. Big up, Charles.
Big up, how are you, bro?
I'm good, thanks.
Big up, Charles.
Big up, Dante. How are you doing, bro?
Yeah, good. Yeah, like I said, yeah, just a bit all over the place with the sleep, but yeah, I'm pretty good otherwise.
That's
Yeah,
good.
it's a good night to talk about. Finally, Estevao Williams announced as a Chelsea player. So even here, Black O2 cases, Estevao has been announced. So yeah, man. Finally, Estevao is here, and big up to AKA, big up family up the chairs. Yeah, up the chairs. So
Update.
So I'm gonna just share the news item first because I think it's okay to do this first. Mm, let me just remove this one on top. Does it want to remove? I don't know. Okay, yeah. Now it says Estevao William Arraza Chelsea. Welcome to Chelsea, Estevao, the Brazilian international who last year agreed a deal to join Chelsea from Palmeiras, has arrived at Carbon to begin life as a Blue. So, Dante, what you thought about finally announcing Estevao William?
Yeah, it's good. Finally, a proper announcement done. Probably expecting a little bit more. I thought they'll do something a little bit more special, but they've just gone the same as the rest of them. So obviously, no special treatment there. I thought they might do something a little bit bigger because they kept him out of the training a bit of the photos and stuff. So I thought maybe they're working on something as well. So, but no, just the normal like everyone else, which is fine as well. So yeah, very excited. I can't wait to see him play. I know there's a lot of pressure on from a lot of fans. Try to take it easy. I just believe in his talent. I've seen him play quite a lot, and I think he's very well suited for the Premier League as well. He doesn't take, he can take tackles, he can take physicality, he can skip over challenges. Obviously, the skill, especially against teams that are going to be low block, I think he's going to be very key on that right hand side to unlock a lot of those defenses. So I expect him to actually to play quite a lot. I think this was one of the reasons Noni left as well. I think he saw a bit of the writing on the wall a little bit as well. So that was part of his decision making as well. So hey, look, it is what it is. We want the best, and I think he's definitely one of the best in the world. Not, I think probably the best for his age bracket, one of the best in the world, 100%. So very excited to see him play.
100%. Charles, what about you?
Um, I'm elated, man. I can't contain this joy that is finally here. Yeah, you know, we've been waiting for this announcement for quite a while now, since the Club World Cup concluded. Club kept it under wraps. They've been trying to hide him and all that stuff, but finally they announced him. The announcement video was underwhelming. I liked the song in the background, but overall, fans expected a bit more, looking at how they protected him, they hid him, and all that stuff. But we've got ourselves a fantastic young player, one of the most exciting in the world right now. Expect him to have a good season with us. He'll probably need a bit of time to acclimatize, but he's a special talent. I wouldn't be surprised if he hit the ground running, but if he doesn't, we'll be happy that he can settle in slowly as well. One thing's for sure, he's going to be one of the very best players in the world in the next few years. I hope he stays. I hope he has the best years at Chelsea. He's really good. He can beat his man. He's got pace. He's really strong for his age. I saw him like holding off Cucurella, the tenacity of Cucurella at the Club World Cup, and he was holding him off, doing
Yeah,
his thing. I was
that was a
really
good test for him,
impressed.
that one.
Yeah. So yeah, ecstatic, man. It's a beautiful night. I can't stop smiling. I think we've got ourselves a player that can hit those hazard levels, and I'm excited to see him link up with Palmer, especially on that right hand side. Palmer in the right half space. I think they're going to do beautiful things on that right hand side. So yeah, exciting times at Chelsea.
100%. And a big up to Jimmy James CFC says, when do we expect him to be our starting right? Well, I think he needs to compete first with Neto, and if he do well, he'll definitely be our number. I mean, our right winger. So at the moment, it's so hard to tell because he still need to acclimatize, learn the language, learn the league, because the Premier League is not easy. But as a Chelsea fans, we just hope that when he comes, he'll eventually adapt very quick, so that it won't take time for him to do well. So let's see, guys. So what are your thoughts, Dante, about it?
Yeah, exactly the same. And big up to Jimmy. Yeah, I told him you were on, so he's come on as well. So good to see him here. Yeah, look, it might take a little bit of time, but like Charles said, it could be that he might hit the ground running as well. Depends what Maresca sees in training. I think Maresca will protect him a little bit. He'll give him time to adapt. But if he sees he's got, he's doing it all in training, I think he'll put him in no problems. He can definitely start on that right hand side. I think on that wing play, especially when we play against low blocks. I think he's the one to go for on that right hand side. When we play against more mid to high blocks, probably Neto is probably better, just because he can run into space a lot more. And then he won't have that much defensive duties to do as well, Estevao. So Neto's works quite hard back as well, quite a lot as well. So yeah, look, I trust Maresca that he'll integrate him properly, and his assistants and everyone. I trust everyone that they'll look after him. We have no problems with him off field. He's got a great head on his shoulders. We've seen the videos. He's quite religious, as most of the Brazilian boys are, but he's a little bit probably more than the rest. His dad's, I think, a pastor as well. So he's got a very good family, good people around him. So that will be very important as well. So, but yeah, I have no doubt. I think give him probably a couple of months just to settle in, to get to know everything. And Maresca will ease in him, because we saw Maresca easing a lot of players. That's how he likes to. Even with Mudryk, he did the same. So I think he'll ease him in slowly. But yeah, I think once we see him, and I think he'll explode pretty quickly, in my opinion, because he's got all the talent in the world. And like I said, with the right people around him, right head on his shoulders, hard working, it's going to be all football focused. I see him not taking too long, to be honest.
And big up to Tagilo Alum says Estevao Willian is officially here. And Black O2K says never I needed to adapt. Well, Neymar, how old was Neymar when he went to Barcelona?
Yeah, but Neymar didn't play in the
I think
Premier
it should
League.
be
He went somewhere
another
where it's
thing then.
the similar language, a slow paced play. It's very different. It's not the Premier League. The La Liga is not Premier League. It's much easier there. So yeah, if I've seen Neymar in the Premier League, that would be different. But the Premier League's a whole different beast, in my opinion. I'm not sure if you guys agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Premier League and La Liga are two different leagues, so there's no way we can compare that. So anything like to add, Charles, before I read the quote from Estevao William?
Um,
Probably like Ronaldo. If there's a good match, Ronaldo when he came, young
I
again,
expect him
Portuguese.
to be starting. Yeah, of him. They're going to integrate him slowly, I think. I don't think Maresca is the kind of manager who likes to rush things. He likes to take his time with players and to integrate them slowly. So I expect him to do that with a young talent like Estevao, just to make him feel comfortable around the place and all that. But in the next 3 months, he should be a regular starter. And looking at the competition with Neto had a strong Club World Cup. Let's remember that. So it's only natural. It's only good that we try to build on that and maybe start him early in the season. Remember that Neto is also very versatile. If, for example, Gittens needs a bit more time, maybe Garnacho, these new guys are not maybe ready in that left wing role, he can still play on the left wing, and Estevao can play on the right with Palmer and probably Simons in the half spaces. So
Yeah.
there's plenty of options, there's plenty of flexibility, and in the next 3 months, I think he'll be good.
Now, Black 02K says his GA alone in the Brazilian league is spectacular, and people hype the Premier League as if it's the most physical Brazilian league is as physical as the Premier League.
Definitely.
So, what are your thoughts, guys?
Definitely not. Brazilian league is physical. I gotta give it that, but it's not as physical and as intense as the Premier League.
It's not as quick. The
Um,
pace is not as quick, 100%.
Pace is not. It's not. So yeah, respect his opinion, obviously, but it's not the same thing. The level is higher. The players are more technical. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. They are very physical. They like to challenge hard, go hard in tackles. They got the Latino blood, so they go quite hard in that league. But yeah, the organization, like on the pitch and the actual play, is a little level down. The technicality is there, no, 100%. They're very technical, but it's a different type of game, and the speed is nowhere near as much. No, obviously, the heat, the cold is very different as well. So yeah, look, it's much faster in the Premier League. You don't have time to think at all. So in the Brazilian league, they like a lot of one-on-ones. They like to show off the beautiful game. It's a little bit different. So in the Premier League, it's basically fitness is first. To be honest, you got to be very fit in the Premier League, and then comes the rest, because you don't have time to think on the ball or to do tricks or to do too much. So yeah, I respect his what he said there as well, but definitely there's other factors that make it very different as well.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So let me read the code. It says, I am very happy. It feels very rewarding to represent Chelsea, one of the biggest clubs in the world. I am very happy, and I hope to help the team in the best way possible. Thoughts, What are your thoughts, Charles, about this?
Yeah. Let's look at this. This is a kid who picked us in the face of competition from other clubs. So he picked us. He wants to pray for us. He wants to do well for us. He wants to succeed here at Chelsea. He recently talked about how people seem to think he didn't make the right choice by moving to Chelsea and all, but he seems very, very comfortable with the decision. He seems convinced it was the right move for him. So that's hugely positive. He's got good advisors. He's got a good family around him. He's got really good people that look out for him. I saw his departure video per se. It was really just about the important things. He's someone who values the important things, very level-headed for his age. He looks like he has a very good head on his shoulders, and just like how he's convinced that this is the best club for him, he's made that clear in those words. So this is what you want to get when you get a young player. They are convinced, they have no doubts about the move, and they just want to kick on. So it's usually hugely positive, and they are looking forward to just seeing him do the best that he can.
Yeah, guys, if you're watching, please kindly like and subscribe to the channel. Jimmy says, when Trent arrived at Real Madrid summer, in when Trent arrived at Real Madrid this summer, we saw he was fluent in Spanish as he was anticipating the move. What do you think of when Palmer tried to speak to Estevao at the Club World Cup? He didn't have any English. I think he knows maybe say maybe small words like because he said his sister is good in English, so that means Esther was learning from his sister. So hopefully can learn English. So Dante, what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, and he said he's started taking as well. So look, it was a pretty and the way Palmer talks as well, with that heavy English accent as well, and yeah, probably couldn't quite understand him. Even I don't understand Palmer sometimes the way he talks sometimes. So yeah, I don't blame him for that. He's learning. He's gonna learn. He's a young kid. Uh, he did take lessons. I think I said at the start of the year, he started taking lessons, if I remember right. So he'll get there. That's not a problem. Yeah, Trent, obviously, that's a little bit a little bit different, but Trent's looks like head was looking towards Spain quite a long time away as well. Probably a couple of years ago, so he started doing it. So yeah, look, he'll learn quickly. One thing I know about the Brazilians, they usually pick it up pretty quickly. I had a lot of Brazilian students when I grew up, and here in Australia, I had a lot of Brazilian friends, and they pick it up pretty quickly. They come to study here all the time in Australia, and it doesn't take them long to pick it up once they start get going. So I think in a few months he'll be just fine. He'll pick it up, especially that he's doing lessons as well. Not a problem.
And I think the Brazilian footballers, the footballers, I think they don't pick up English rather quickly. The footballers. I know you said you've taught some students, maybe other areas, other professions,
No. They were actually quite,
other stuff,
yeah, they
but
were footballers as well because I grew up playing football, obviously, of course, and they were footballers as well. Here, this was 20 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, I'm talking about. But yeah, like I said, I grew up with a few of them, and they came over, no English at all. And literally within a few months, they were speaking pretty good English, basic, but very good English. So I don't think he'll take that much to learn, to be honest. But yeah, obviously British might be a little bit different. The British accent, the way they talk. Australian is obviously a little bit different as well. That maybe that as well. The British accent is a little bit harder. If you got a really strong British accent, it's pretty hard to understand. Even people that, like from Americans, Australians, it's hard to understand some of those British, strong British dialects sometimes. I know. I think Jimmy's. I think he's Irish. Is he Irish? I think so. He's got a bit of an accent as well. So yeah, probably that makes a difference as well. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. Because I see the likes of Jesus in the Premier League. They've been in England for quite some time, and they're still struggling to construct proper sentences. But I have no doubts that Estevao will pick it up quickly. I've seen him do some sentences in English at the Club World Cup. He was understanding what the reporters were saying. So I think I agree with you that he'll pick it up. But from what I've seen, the Brazilian Premier League players, they still struggle to make proper sentences, and they've been
I
here
think
for
if
a
you want to
while.
learn, you learn. If you're not really too bothered about it, they don't really, because they have so many Spanish, Portuguese speaking people, players around them usually that it's yeah. Even off field, they hang around with pretty much all the other Brazilians. So I get it, but yeah, I think it just depends on the individual. I see Estevao the type
Yeah,
that he would learn pretty quickly. He looks like a learning type of kid. He always wants to learn and improve. That goes to football, but that goes in his life as well, from what I've seen.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and Andre Santos is there. So as you can see, Andre Santos really adapted very quick in terms of language. He can speak
Joao
English and also
French. Yeah, he learned very quickly
French
French, Andres
and
Santos.
French also. So he can learn one or two things from Andre Santos. So I think we are covered.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
Yeah,
Football is the language. It's a universal
Yeah,
language. You only need to learn certain things. So on the field, it won't be a problem. I can guarantee you that.
yeah,
yeah.
100%. So I
Agreed.
says I watch the matches week in, week out. It's actually underrated. Look at Flamingo, they beat us 3-1. I agree with you, but I also, like you always say here, the Premier League and the Brazilian League are different. Yes, they are physical in the Brazilian League, but in terms of intensity, the pressure, and all those kind of things, I think the Premier League, bro, is one of the best. So we understand your opinion. So you're not gonna say we rule out your opinion. I think everyone opinions matters.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
100%.
Jimmy says it a lack of preparation to give himself the best chance to get settled in. I don't think so. If you are good as a player, I think you'll settle in. So, but at the same time, we need to be careful. This kid is still young. Yes, is one of the best young players, but again, we just need to let him to settle. The Premier League is not easy, so let's see what will happen, guys. So let's not
Yeah.
worry too much.
Yeah. Yeah, Dante talked about the weather too. So sometimes the weather affects you if you are not used to the cold. Obviously, in Brazil, it's
Mhm.
hot and it's more suited Spain, stuff like that. So that could also be a factor. So we'll see if he settles in quickly or if he'll need a bit of time. But we have to protect him. We have to give him time, and we have to be patient with him because once he starts playing his football, it's going to be really big for us. So
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
100%.
100%. The weather's definitely a factor.
Here says I had almost a year and a half to wait until I arrive here, but it has been a year and a half. I have worked hard and have done my best to get here in the best shape possible. I'm very excited. It is a new experience in my life, a new stage. I'm looking forward to it and hope that it will go as well as possible. Yeah, and the boy is ready, guys. So no need to worry.
Yeah.
No need to
Yep.
worry.
Put a ball in his hands, put it down on his feet. He's ready to go. To play the game, no problems. He's ready to go.
100%. And also here, just to add, I am a child of God, a calm boy. In my free time, I love playing video games, and I like spend time with my family as well. Yeah, we saw like we said, we all saw the video with his family praying and everything. So yes, it's a another son of God, just like Trevor Chalaba, Jehovah's son. So we are good guys. Don't worry.
Exactly. Inshallah, no problem. And he'll fit
Jehovah.
right in because they all play video games together, all of them. They're around the same age, most of them. So yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
100%. Blake says, do you guys think Xavi Simons will be another Nkunku or will he shine? I'm gonna ask Dante first, and then I'll go to Charles before I give my opinion. So Dante, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, Xavi Simons will not be an Nkunku. He will definitely shine, in my opinion. There's a very, very tiny chance that he might not, but I'm very, very confident, probably 95% confident that he will shine. He's a very different from Nkunku. He plays with his head up. He looks for an assist all the time. He's much a little bit lower to the ground. Very strong. He's got a very strong core, strong legs. He can take a challenge as well. Doesn't mind a bit of the push and shove physicality. But number one, I keep going back to it. Tobega heard me say it plenty of times on Chelsea Perspective. He plays with his head up. Very technical player. His head's always up, scanning the field. Hence, he gets a lot of assists. He's got a great shot on him as well. Very, very smart. High IQ. Nkunku, very different type of player. No, Xavi Simons will play in that 10 role next to Palmer. When we play low blocks, he'll probably start as a left winger, but come as an inside forward, most likely, play next to Palmer. Uh, and he will really help break down those low blocks, in my opinion. That's the type of player we needed, another type of player, like a really creative player like that. That's really good at close dribbling. And like I said, head up all the time, scanning the field, looking for runs or looking to take a player on and shoot. So I think he's the complete package, and I think he really gives Maresca so many options. I think he's the perfect fit. We needed that type of player. That's probably one of the profiles we were missing. We had Palmer, but with no one sort of in and around like exactly like that. That's a little bit smaller, more technical than Palmer because he actually is. If you look at his technique, it's ridiculous. You don't see many players with their head up, scanning the field, and they're dribbling at the same time with their feet, no problems. That is the most hardest thing to do in football. In my opinion, that is the best. You're one of the best in the world if you can do it like that, and he does that no problem. It's easy for him. So yes, I think definitely a massive, massive upgrade over Nkunku.
Charles, what are your thoughts?
Uh, um, Simmons, like Dante just said, very, very different player to Nkunku. Simmons is more of a playmaker, is more of someone who's always trying to create something. We needed a profile that could carry, first of all, carry from midfield. That's one of the reasons we wanted someone like, we still want someone like Rogers, and I guess Xavi is the alternative. So we need someone who can carry the ball from midfield, can dribble, and Xavi does that. It is different from Nkunku. Nkunku is more of someone who likes just to run into space, get goals. Yeah, good finisher. But Xavi Simons is someone who's going to try to make things happen. He's very, very technical. He's very creative. He's very, very creative. I think his combinations with Palmer, with Estevao are going to be good. He's got a low center of gravity. He's quite powerful. Have you seen his Trivela pass? He
He
likes
loves
a
that. Yeah.
Trivela. He likes a Trivela. Yeah, so they are very different. Very, very different. I think Xavi Simons, who complements what we already have better than what Nkunku has offered. And we should be really, really excited if he comes or when he comes, because I actually think it's going to happen, especially with the outgoings that we've managed to push through in the last few days. So he'll come, and the link up, the combinations with the attacking players like Palmer, like Neto, Estevao, even Enzo Fernandez, I think it's going to be really, really good. So excited about him. I'm not expecting him to be Nkunku. Yeah, so that's that.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you guys. I think they are two different profiles. Nkunku is more as a goal scorer more than as a creator. So if Xavi Simons, he can create, he can score, he can drop deep, a lot of things. So overall, I think Xavi Simons is a better profile than Nkunku. And I won't say Nkunku is a bad player because we all know Nkunku is a role at Chelsea. Unfortunately, it's not working out the way we planned. At Leipzig, he was scoring left and right. But at Chelsea, first season he struggled, injury. The second season in the Conference League, he was doing very well. But in the Premier League, sometimes he was scoring goals, but sometimes he was struggling. So clearly can see that Nkunku is a good player, but overall, it's not what we need at the moment. So we need some creative players. Like Dante said, we need a player that will help Cole Palmer. If Cole Palmer is not available, we know that Xavi Simons is there to fill that role. So that's my take. And big up to Cien Biona says, do you think Estevao will start? Well, it's so hard to say that, right? Because, like we also hear, I think the best things to do is to integrate him first, see him how he adapt in the Premier League, acclimatize and everything. Then we can talk about study. If for example, if it was like a Rafael Leo signing Rodrigo, those kind of players, we say, yeah, he should start because of those price tags and everything. But if Estevao William is still young, he still need to learn new things in Europe, especially in the Premier League. So overall, I don't think he will start. Um, big up, Rich Money Maker says Justin from sources. Newcastle are interested in Simmons, but they want to take us on, and Jackson does want to stay, according to my source. Ah, like,
Good luck, Newcastle, trying to get Simmons. Good luck with that one.
yeah, good luck. Let's see what happens. Says Newcastle have Nicolas Jackson on their list, but we will only accept over 75 million for him. I agree with you. I think we should get 75 million or 70 because the way Newcastle and Manchester United going crazy for Benjamin Sesko, like really, I don't understand this. The guy scored 13 league goals, and they want to pay almost 100 million for him. That's a lot for that kid, man. So then Jody thought,
Yeah, look, I find it ridiculous as well. But hey, it's the striker market. There's no real strikers available. Most of them are
yeah,
gone. They're all gone. Uh, Sesko, there's only one thing, Sesko, and that's he's got a very high ceiling. But do we know if he's ever going to hit that? Is he gonna? Can he do that in the Premier League? That's a big question mark. So to pay that much money, yeah, not the smartest move. But hey, Newcastle are desperate. They have no choice. Manchester United kind of in a way are as well. They're trying to back Amarim to give him everything to succeed, even though they signed Zerki for a lot of money and then obviously Hoyland for similar money, and they haven't worked out very well, have they? So yeah, like you say, to score only like 13, 14 goals in the Bundesliga, that's sort of below average. That's like average, probably below average in the Bundesliga, to be honest. So look, I have no idea. It's not my problem. The good thing is that this pushes up Nicolas Jackson valuation very high, and I I know Chelsea will not sell him for anything less. I reckon they'll want probably 80 million for him. Minimum, I think they'll want 80 million, 80 to 100, I think. They might even ask the same money. If Sesko goes for that money, they're going to ask Jackson for the same type of money, probably. And Newcastle will have that money. If they sell Isaac for 120, 130, 140, whatever it is, they'll even have change, no problem. So they'll have that money. They'll be desperate. There'll be no one else to sign. If he, this is for Man United as well, because they like him as well quite a lot. So, but I think Newcastle, he might end up in Newcastle if the dominoes fall right and Sesko goes to Man United, which I think he will. I think Newcastle will have no choice but to buy Jackson, and for that crazy price as well, because they'll have the money, they'll have the need, and Jackson probably suits them even better than Sesko, in my opinion, because the way they played with Isaac, I think Jackson will suit them very, very well. So they just pay up the money, give us 90 million, and Jackson is yours, no problem.
Actually, I think you'll go to Manchester United for this reason. I think Manchester United will offer him crazy wages. Newcastle at the moment, they're still developing. What if Manchester United offer him 400 million and Newcastle offer him like less than 300? Because Isak at the moment, he wants 300 and Newcastle are not willing to give him that.
No one's giving Jackson that much. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about Sesko.
Oh, Sesko. Okay, no. Yeah, wages might be important, but then if he wants to play Champions League, obviously, Europe. If he wants to be in Europe, well, then it's you go to Newcastle. It just depends what the player wants, but we'll wait and see. We know what Red Bull want. They don't care. They just want the biggest fee. They don't really care where he goes. So they'll just accept the highest fee. It doesn't matter. But it's always up to the player in the end because he can say no very simply. So. Yeah, it's a close. I still think, I think he'll go to Man United because what you said, they'll probably offer a little bit more in wages, but it's just a much bigger club, yeah. And if his advisor is advising him long term and probably commercially and blah blah blah, that he'll go to Man United.
100%. Richmond Maker says also taking to some sources from Newcastle, they like Nkunku keep up you updated. Yeah, man, they should come fast, man. Why are they waiting? Let's come on, Newcastle. We're waiting for you.
Sterling, Joao, we got quite a few that can come from, no problem.
We have Disasi.
Can I just talk a bit about the Jackson saga? Obviously, one of Manchester United or Newcastle are going to come for him. Whoever misses out on Sesko. From our perspective, I think it's really, really important not to price him out of a move, like price the suitors out of a move. I know we are saying no, they've got money and all, but I think it's different when you look at Sesko. They are looking probably at his ceiling, and yeah, they are looking at his potential, and it's an unknown, so they are willing to pay big for that potential. When you look at Nicolas Jackson, he's a player they have seen in the Premier League. They've seen him score goals. They've seen his struggles. So I don't particularly think they are going to be willing to pay the same kind of money that they are offering for Sesko. I don't think they are going to pay the same kind of money for Jackson, because with Jackson, it's a bit known what you are getting from him, and it's good. It's good. It's not really game changing, I would say, but it's good. So from our perspective, this is the best time to sell, because obviously we've brought in Joao Pedro, we've brought in Liam Delap, and these guys will probably get more minutes than Jackson. And if we keep him around, if we demand 80, 90 million because Newcastle have it and they are bidding for Sesko, If we demand that kind of money and no one agrees to pay that, and we keep Jackson, his value will only suffer. And if it does, we'll be looking to sell next summer for significantly lower than that. Looking at the Nkunku situation as well, we can learn from it, because we initially valued Nkunku around 60 million like that, but no one was willing to pay. And right now, we are rumored to be happy to take even as low as 35 to 40 million from him. So I don't think we
Nah,
should be
nah, nah,
looking at the.
that's
I don't
low.
think we should be. I don't think we should be looking at the bids that Newcastle and Man United are placing on Sesko as our benchmark for Jackson. I think we should be looking at 60 million. I think it would be good. Yeah, that's just what I think. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I
yeah, still, yeah. Go ahead, Dante.
no, go ahead, Tobeka. Go first. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, like you said, 30 or 40 million. I think that's low for Nicolas Jackson. And by the way, we are not under pressure.
I meant
Oh,
Nkunku.
you meant
For
for
Nkunku,
Nkunku.
initially valued
Oh,
him around.
He said 60 for
No one
Jackson.
was.
He said 60. Yeah.
yeah, Jackson 60. No. For Nkunku, yes, it's 43 million
I
less
think
than that. No,
Yeah,
okay, Nkunku,
we're
no
asking
problem.
43 million because that's still basically we break even a little bit over the top, and it's clears the books of PSR and etc. So that's why we're asking that much. That's all we need to move him on. So that's why we're asking that much. We might even sell him for more. You never know. Depends who comes in, the way we sell. So, but Jackson 60 million is too low for me. I think the club put that evaluation of when it first came out. They said
80.
close. They said 80 to 100 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they will stick to that. If Newcastle are desperate, we don't want to sell Jackson. He probably doesn't want to leave. Maybe he doesn't want to leave either, from what he said. So this is only if an opportunity comes around. Jackson will be promised to be the starter there,
When you look
and
at
they offer us 80 million pounds. Well, then we'll go to Jackson and say, Jackson, 80 million. It's up to you. The club can't force him to go. Jackson has to say yes still. So of course they'll want to try and move him if we get 80 million for him, but it'll still be up to Jackson in the end. And Jackson will probably say yes to that. Why? Because he would also get a very probably significant pay rise as well. Obviously his agents will make a lot of money, etc. He's got some family, I think, that in on it as well. So I think you probably will go then, because it's just too good to turn down, and it'll be a starting position, and it's a system that will suit Jackson extremely well because the way Newcastle play. So
you
yeah, look,
factored in Joao Wissa, Dante. There's Joao Wissa on the market. You probably cost around.
But Wissa is not a
40.
striker.
No, it does play up top. It does play up top.
he's played a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's an option for Newcastle. And if we play hardball in our negotiations for Jackson, look, I'm just trying to.
So you're saying, but you would sell him for 60 million or even less?
I would say not less. I think
Okay.
60 million is a fair price for him. Yes, I think 60 is a fair price. And I think with the availability of Joao Wissa on the market, we should be careful how much we demand. And I don't think, for what Jackson has showed in the last couple of years, I don't think it's 80 to 100 million worthy. I don't
No, it's
think
not.
that.
But then Sesko, he scored 13 goals in the Bundesliga. Isn't that 95 million worthy? No. It's whatever the market
when we are
dictates.
buying players that's where it's different, Dante. When we are buying players from the Bundesliga, the Aves, the Kitikes, they'll always be ridiculously priced, because it's a Premier League club coming for them and all that stuff. They have the potential side.
But shouldn't
Potential
Jackson
on their
then be
side
better
and
than
all
those
that.
players, because he scored a lot more goals in the Premier League and done it in the Premier League already?
I don't think a player who doesn't do very well at a Premier League club gets sold for ridiculous money to another Premier League club. We sold Mount and Aves for 60 million. I don't think Jackson is going to go above that. Uh, I don't know. That's what I'm looking at as
Yeah, but
well.
that's because we wanted to
Because,
sell those players, Charles. We don't want to sell Jackson. That's the big difference.
don't we?
No, well,
I think we.
they made a statement that we
I
don't.
think
We're not selling him. Jackson said he doesn't want to go. So no, if an opportunity arises and someone comes and bids the money we would ask for, that a player doesn't, that's still under 10 years contract, okay, then we might consider it. But otherwise, no, we're not looking to sell him. No.
Yeah, 100%.
okay.
We are not desperate to sell him. We are. If an offer comes, I think we might be open to sell him only if Nicolas Jackson wants to go to that club. So
Yeah,
we
and
are
if
not
it
under
meets our
pressure to sell him.
evaluation, which is 80 million, if it meets our evaluation, well, then we'll look at it. If not, hey, look, either way, it's a win-win for Chelsea. If we get 80 million, he goes, it's a win. If he stays and fights for his spot, it's a win. I'm not too worried about him, then in like you said, a year later, maybe having to leave and then you sell him for like 45 million. It doesn't matter. We've got money for that, no problem. We're still going to make a big profit on him either way. So it doesn't really matter, I think. We're in a very strong position either way. We still got so many sales to make. We're probably, even this transfer window, we probably might end up in a plus, not in the minus, if we sell the players we've got to sell.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this transfer window, we are going to have a plus in terms of making sales. So let's see. Um, Black says, go ahead, bro.
Let's. Why I don't agree? I just see it differently. I think the club understands and acknowledges that as much as they don't want to sell Jackson, I think they understand that this is the best time to sell. Yeah, I don't think they are desperate, but I think they know that this is the best time to get the biggest fee that we can for him. I don't think that fee should be unrealistic. Uh, yeah, so I get what you guys are saying. Yeah, we are in a strong position. If he stays, good for us, good for our squad. We have three strikers in our squad. Yeah, it's a good position to be in, but it's also the best time to sell. I don't think we get a bigger fee for Jackson this summer. I don't think we get a bigger fee for Jackson any time apart. That's not this summer. So yeah, because at the end of the day, our model is also about selling players that don't make it here, that don't make it according to our expectations. Jackson hasn't done badly. He's done good. He's done decent. He's not done spectacular. So I think because of that, the club might consider selling him. And I think they should be realistic. I think a 60 million for a 30 million player we signed 2 years ago, I think it's good. It's good. It's still good money. I don't think it's low. So I don't think we should compare him to the Bundesliga overpriced potential players like that. So yeah, that's just how I see it.
Yeah, like I said, either
Okay,
way, it's good. It's a win-win for Chelsea either way.
100%.
It is. That we agree on. It is.
100%. Before I go to Bobby, let me.
Especially especially on the footballing part, which is always primary. It's important. It's a win for us if he stays. If he goes, we'll probably get a good fee for him. So I totally agree when you say that, especially on the footballing part. If he stayed, yeah.
100%. Black 02K says keep Jackson because the season is long. If we sell, Omega should come immediately. Well, I don't know about it. Let's see what happens. Personally, if I was Chelsea, I don't.
Oh. Omega,
No, no, no. Uh,
no. Emega should stay
He's not ready
put
yet.
at
No.
Strasbourg. Yeah, not ready. And Strasbourg need him more than we do. They need him much more than we do. Even if we saw Jackson, I think we should let them keep Emega. They need him. He needs to bang the goals, maybe push them again to a top six
And
finish.
Europe. Let him
Yeah,
play in
I
Europe as well
think.
first.
Yeah.
100%. Guys, if you're watching, please kindly like and subscribe to the channel. Big up, Bobby. How are you?
Yeah, big up to Tobago and
Are you
everyone else
good?
on the panel. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just trying to catch up with what you were talking about. I'm not really sure what the topic
Yeah,
is.
bigger Bobby.
Hey,
Mm,
Dante, what's the
yeah.
topic?
Hey, big up, Bobby.
What's the topic?
Uh,
What's this?
At,
Chelsea,
at first,
Zambia. Is it? Wow.
yeah, sure.
yeah.
Yeah. At first, we were talking
You
about
can call me Joao.
Estevao. Estevao William officially announced as a Chelsea player. And also, we are talking about Nicolas Jackson potentially going to Newcastle, and how much should we allow him to go to Newcastle or Manchester United, either way. So, what are your thoughts about Estevao first?
Yeah, Estevao, I was happy. I don't know why the club is dragging this one out. Sometimes these things get silly. Um, just show the fans, give them something to feel warm about. Yeah, they're just teasing, little bits here, little bits there. It's just ridiculous, and this will just make people. Of course, they'll always welcome him, but they'll switch off their optics. By now, we should have seen him with the first team. This is the second day training and that sort
They've
of thing.
announced him,
And
Bobby. You've seen just recently now. I don't know if you've seen it.
yeah, I've seen the announcement. I've seen him stepping on the soapbox sort of thing. But that's my point. It's just snippets. It's teasing. We could have seen this yesterday.
Yeah. He did train. He
Um,
did train with the first team, but yeah, I know what you
then
mean.
show the pictures. All this a little bit here. They're making it unnecessarily too dramatic. This guy has been a Chelsea player for a year. We know
Uh,
this.
they,
He's here now, but we're happy to see him. We're happy he's here. Now it's down to business. There's a lot to do this season. He's here to help this club win. And as our song says, winning is our aim. I was kind of hearing a little bit about somebody saying, this is the best time to sell Jackson and so on. And indeed, it is. But you have to understand, Chelsea is not really about selling players. We have that in our new project. We've amassed a lot of young players. We send them out to develop, and if they don't cut the mustard or tune the gravy, then they go on the market. And yes, for me, I'm glad at the club stance. I wouldn't budge an inch. 80 million, 100 million. You want to start talking that way? Okay, reluctantly, we'll talk Jackson. But anything else, we're not interested. All these people trying to undersell him. Oh, maybe if they drop 65 million, maybe we'll start thinking about it. No, that's the price. Gone are the days where people look at Chelsea, oh, they've got money, they can give us their players. No, we're not interested in that. We don't need to give away Jackson. And if next season, and that's a big if, he's not, on the market for as much, well, so what? We move on. We'll sell him if we want to for something. But I don't want the club to be cornered into this position that, oh, there's money. Oh, let's go for it. No, we don't need to do it. Um, the money we would get from the glory of his contribution to the team will cumulatively be far more, and worth far more than just selling him for a couple of million here and there. I think, the buying and selling mentality that we seem to want to adopt in the fan base is not what we're about at Chelsea Football Club. We have never, even in the days when we weren't as powerful as we are now, we have never been that club. I go back a long way. I remember back in the day when we sold Ray Wilkins. I was a child then, and he was our main player, youngest captain we've ever had, 18 years old. He was Chelsea captain in a very young team that came from the academy and took us to the giddy heights of third place in the old first division. And the club ran into some financial problems. Man United came calling. He didn't really want to go. And the club just let him go at a high price to help cover some bills. But do we sell players? No, not really. We don't care. We're here for the glory. We bring players in to have glory. But I get you. If anyone does drop 80, okay, we start talking. But talking 65, 70, 75, I wouldn't even do that. I want the club to be bloody minded because we've had enough of that thrown at us. We've gone for players, look what they did to us with Caicedo. I know Liverpool came and uh, corrupted the market, but still, Brighton back then exploited it and made sure that we had to drop 115 to get our player. Same thing with Enzo and many other players. Look what happened with the Magnon situation. AC Milan, who, as broke as their asses are right now, they wouldn't budge from 20. So why the hell should Chelsea budge with a player that has what 8.5 years left of contract and is very much a part of the team? We don't need to sell him. Why the hell would we start thinking of doing any favors to anybody? They want Jackson, they will pay through their backside to get him. He's a very good player. His potential is very great. His ceiling is high. He would improve any team he goes to, more in particular if he goes to a rival team. No way. I would never support the club wanting to sell this guy on the cheap, if at all. So that's just my opinion on the whole Jackson situation. I would rather he stayed, but maybe a good price comes in. We're assembling. If we get hold of Xavi Simons, I won't claim to know him, but I've heard enough from the likes of you, Tobago, and Coachella, and Dante, and okay, I understand he's a good player. We get him into this squad because it's got to be about the squad. We must have a healthy rotation. We must be able to compete on all fronts to go very far. In fact, we're aiming to win everything. We shouldn't be looking at anything other than winning everything. And if we get this guy in, I think for the first time in a long time, we can be approaching a season with a measure of confidence. Bearing in mind the last two seasons, what really killed us was injuries. So now, having had that experience, your likes of Wesley Fofana, who I see running around now talking about people can talk and all that, I'm like, shut up, mate. Just get on with staying fit. We don't want to hear from you and your, there, people will talk. Well, shut your mouth. You haven't played a full season for Chelsea in the 3 years you've been here. Shut up, put your head down, stay fit. We know you're a great player. That's why we still want you with us. But don't be talking trash. Get yourself on that pitch. Your mates have done things without you. That should be upsetting you. They've won things, they've had to survive without you. So now you show us what they can do with you. Chelsea fans don't know what it is to have Wesley Fofana in the team through the season. we don't know. We just see little bits here and there. So we want to see it this season, and I believe that the way to do that would be with a good rotation, and we can do that now. We are a strong team, unpredictable, flexible. Trust me, our rivals are scared. They are scared of Chelsea because this Chelsea is not the Chelsea that they've been making fun of over the past 2 years.
100%. So let me read the comments before we continue because yes, so many comments to catch. We're gonna start here. It says big update talking to another source, Villa One Jackson, and I've been told we'll go in for Morgan. Let's see, man. I don't think if you sign Xavi Simons, I don't think you're going to get Rogers. So just seeing you are hoping to sell him for 15 million, but he must lower his wages. But next year we might rest in peace up his contract.
Mate, we will pay people to take that flipping Sterling out of this club. Honestly, gosh, that's
Yeah, and Jimmy says some people dream about money, women, big house, and a fast car. I dream of Chelsea without Jackson. He can't find the back of the net without a compressed and a
no, guys. I mean, to be fair, Jackson is a very good player. I don't want him to go, but I've got to say, from the looks of it, what we have in front of him is really good. I would, Delap and Joao Pedro, they're finishers, which is something he isn't. But that link up play, that battling, that non-stop running, and it'll be something to be missed because I'm not sure the other two would be able to do that the way he does. So it would be nice to have him still in the squad. But clearly, as I've said, somebody who's serious, you drop 80 million, we start talking. Pounds,
yeah,
not euros, pounds. I'm talking about 80 to 100 million pounds.
100% Bobby. Big up AB says
60.
all those guys saying it's okay to start season with two strikers. We'll start crying when we start having issues. You guys need to stop. We are a big club and with average of 60 games next season. Guys, what are your thoughts about us having two strikers next season? If you sign Nicolas Jackson, should you sign another striker? Dante, I'll start with you.
Yeah, look, it would be great to, like I said, have him gives Maresca another type of striker because we know how he plays, especially if when we play against teams, they're going to be really open, or you bring him on in the second half, you want another attacking option. But especially against high blocks, mid blocks, well, we've seen what he can do. He scores 95% of his goals and assists come against teams that play that way. He doesn't do that. He hasn't scored. I think he scored one goal, and that's it against low blocks ever for us. So, hence Maresca wanted like a Joao Pedro. He wanted that type of player. Delap he's got that physicality, more of a box striker. So, but I think it is important to keep Jackson for those type of games, especially if we can't keep him. Again, it's a win-win for Chelsea. If we get the 80 million pounds, a win. If not, it's still a win. We do have Pedro Neto that can still fill in as striker. We saw he did a great job when he did fill in as striker as well. So we've got a couple of other options as well to play false nine. Palmer's played before. So there is other options. It's not the end of the world. We've got an academy as well. We've got Shim Mueka, striker, academy striker, So we've got options if Jackson goes. It's not the end of the world. But of course, if we want to compete on all fronts and if we want to win even the Carabao Cup, those FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, you need that depth because if one goes down, well, then basically we're left with only two. So, yeah, look, not the end of the world, but if we want to win everything and go for everything, which I think Chelsea, that's why they want to keep him. I think we keep him. But like I said, win-win. Either way, it's a win-win for us. It doesn't really matter. I hope he stays, and I don't mind if he goes for 80 million pounds. If he goes, more than happy for that to happen as well.
Charles, what about you? If we sell Nicolas Jackson, do you think Chelsea should sign another striker to replace him?
First of all, I don't believe in third choice players. I don't believe in third choice players. If you look at Manchester City, that's the problem Pep Guardiola is trying to cut out from his team. He says he had too many players last season, and it brings discontentment when you have too many players. And third choice players usually don't get enough minutes, and they just become discontent. So I think if we sell Nicolas Jackson, which I think we will, I think we shouldn't sign another striker. I think we should look to the academy, give Mioka more minutes, maybe. Yeah, I think that would work for us. But I don't want us to keep Jackson as a third choice striker. I think he won't get enough game time. I think his value suffers. As much as Bobby seems to think selling isn't important for this club, I think under this ownership, it is very much important to what we are trying to do. It's very important. So if we do sell Nicolas Jackson, let's just maybe give more minutes to Mioka, especially in the cups, and keep Liam Delap and Joao Pedro as the senior strikers. And if if uh, if push comes to shove, even Pedro Neto can still play there. So I don't think we need a third choice player. I think every position just needs two players. And yeah, 23 to 25 players for me. I've never believed in third choice players and never will. And if Jackson goes, just keep the squad as it is and we move on.
Bobby, what are your thoughts? Would you sell if you sell Nico? Do you think we should sign another striker?
Um, the I was just responding to something about Willi Isa, the mentality monster that we've got, which I think has really been an important part of what was achieved towards the end of the season. Look, the it's very important to keep team spirit. Very important. It's also extremely important in a season where we've come off the back of last season where we played 64 games. We ended up playing just one game less than PSG, who went all the way in the Champions League and various other cup competitions in France. Um, then this is a season where we're going for everything. These players have their international games throughout the season, and the season culminates in a World Cup. So there's a lot of football to be had. And the notion of a small squad no longer really applies. Yes, you can't have more than your 25-man squad anyway. But the importance for a top team like Chelsea that's going to be involved at the very top is squad depth. You must have that strength in depth. Whether you have three strikers, you see, people are looking. You can't look at anybody especially in the striking positions at Chelsea with this Chelsea squad in a dogmatic way. I had this conversation with Dante a couple of days ago on Coach's stream, where somebody was asking a question about um, Xavi Simons. Oh, is he going to come? Is he going to be the number 10? And those days are over. Chelsea aren't talking your number 10s and your number 9s and your number 8s. We have a fluid attacking force. Any one of those three strikers can play anywhere in the front line. Jackson can play on the left comfortably. Even Cole Palmer, we've seen him play on the left. These guys are going to interchange and move around. The issue is squad depth, squad strength in depth, and rotation. That's going to happen. Now, I take on board this thing about a if Jackson goes, maybe dip into the academy. We got to be careful because you see the project has moved to I believe the final stage. We had the initial stage of the recruitment and development, then the second season of development, which was last season. Now this season is execution. um can we dip a lot into the academy like when we were in the conference league? I'm not too sure we can. Maybe the Carabao Cup, depending on what the opposition is. Maybe the FA Cup, depending on what the opposition is. But then that would leave a huge workload to the likes of Delap and Joao Pedro. And believe me, especially Joao Pedro, he will also have his international commitments. One thing we don't want at Chelsea next season is the injury garbage we suffered over the past 2 seasons. We don't want that. A player that is out, you don't see him again till the end of the season if you're lucky. And all um the difficult December, January period where you need your squad, we're limping and struggling, and then dipping into the academy. That's just it, really. Is it possible for Jackson to be sold? Yes, it is, if somebody drops the money. But if they don't drop the money, we need him in the squad because trust me, he's going to get enough game time. These guys will not only be able to play together, but they'll be playing separately. They'll be able to give each other a rest. There will be rotation. There has to be rotation of this squad. And Maresca is very aware of that because he's done the injury journey. Look how he wraps Reece James up in cotton wool, and he'll do that with Fofana. So that's just the point I'm making. The youngsters in the academy, unfortunately, apart from the what I would call the A-listers like Josh Achimpong, it's going to be tough for them outside of things like the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. It's going to be tough. You've got to be some player to break into this lot, I tell you, because your age grade is playing first team football. Is it Andre Santos you're going to knock off his perch? Is it Jarrell Hato you're going to knock off his perch? Those are 18, 19-year-old kids, same age as our academy graduates. So it's going to be tough for them. And we've got to stay as a strong squad to take on the Premier League, not to mention the Champions League as well.
Yeah, personally,
Bobby.
okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You can ask him, and then I'll continue.
Yes, Bobby, you said the era of seeing Chelsea's attacking players as number nines, as number tens, as number eights is gone. But from Maresca's comment, you said from Maresca's comment last season, he used to say that it does not see Jackson as a left winger. Of course, Jackson will drift to the left during games, but from the start, Maresca has made it clear that he does not see Jackson as a left winger. So I think that era of positions and numbers is still very much in effect under Maresca. And if all three of Joao Pedro, of Nicolas Jackson, and of Liam Delap are fit, he's not gonna start any two of them at the same time. I think he's going to start with one. Uh, our pursuit of Xavi Simons indicates that Joao Pedro will be deployed as a striker. So I really get what you're saying, Bobby. We need a big squad. You made reference to PSG last season, but even them, They played. I think they played the same number of competitions as we did. They have 3 domestic competitions in the French league, in the French, yeah, in French football, and they also had the Champions League, also at the Club World Cup. But I didn't see them really need someone up top who wasn't Usman Dembele or this Ramos guy. And even then, this Ramos guy didn't even get enough game time last season. So um, I get what you're trying to say. Jackson could be very important for us if he stays, but I don't see him getting enough game time if Liam Delap and Joao Pedro hit the ground running, they score goals. The Club World Cup already had these indications. Jackson was firmly, especially in the knockout stages, was firmly a third choice striker. He didn't get many minutes. He didn't step foot in the final. So Maresca is already making it clear that Jackson will start the season as a third choice striker. So as much as you want to keep a lot of players, um, you talked about the morale, the what Willi Isa has done for the team. The mentality is brought, and if you want to keep the good vibes, if you want to keep a happy squad, bloated squad is the exact opposite of that. So I watched the Club World Cup and I saw Jackson was already showing signs of frustration. I think that challenge that he lunged in to get that red card was a challenge of frustration. I saw his body language at the Club World Cup. It was one of a bit of frustration, of sadness. I think he was just coming to terms with the fact that other players have been signed in his position and they've been pushed ahead of him. So I think it's very important if you want to keep a healthy squad to sell players that might not get a lot of minutes, but then injuries come in and you know that stuff happens. So I that's where I get your point of trying to keep him of um, us being Chelsea and being involved in all these competitions. But if everyone is fit, I don't think we need the third choice player. I maintain that if we sell Jackson, I don't think we need another player.
I just want to give a response to this because I think it's important. There's no such thing as a bloated squad. In the Premier League, you register your 25-man squad. However you want to use it is up to you. Everybody has 25 men. So that idea that people try to pin on Chelsea, you've got a bloated squad, is nonsense. Maresca
And we can use
is
the under
very
21s. Don't forget Bobby because they don't count.
well.
There's a B list as
Well,
well.
if there's a B list in
Yes.
the Premier League itself, that's new to me. I thought the Premier League, you name your 25 man. But if you can, within that 25-man bracket, include your under 21s, which is probably half the Chelsea team
Exactly.
anyway, anyway, then okay, we're talking you can bloat your squad. But I can assure you that Maresca is not going to be out to bloat any squad. He doesn't do that. If he doesn't want you, he'll freeze you out in the cold. Just ask Raheem Sterling, ask Ben Chilwell, and even ask Carney Chukwuemeka, who indeed was one of.
I think the squad was bloated last season,
Sorry?
Bobby. Don't you think the squad was bloated a bit last season, Bobby?
Not the playing squad, not at all. There was the squad numbers that belonged to Chelsea was bloated, but the playing squad was fine. And Maresca made that very clear in so many interviews. He's like, "Well, you're talking about this, that, and the other. I know the players I have. The rest is up to the sporting directors and the ownership to dispose of." Maresca isn't playing that game. That is a media game, a Chelsea disparaging game. Yeah, in the process of the rebuild, they bought and they overbought rather than underbought. But that sometimes comes with the territory. Well, we don't know the territory because nobody else has been in the position Chelsea is in. Look, but coming back to Jackson, a lot is being made of this. This is fan stuff. Chelsea fans, you see a player on the bench. Oh, he's not happy. He comes on, he does something stupid, which Jackson did anyway. Look what I mean. That stupid behavior wasn't because he was on the bench when he did that at Newcastle. That is Jackson's temperament going awry. But people will add that to the mix. Oh, now he's got competition, he's unhappy. Mate, let me tell you, if he goes to any big club, unless he goes to a mid-table club or a lesser club, with all due respect, maybe a Crystal Palace or a West Ham, that sort of, or Fulham, he's gonna have competition. That's the nature of the beast. He was very fortunate that his first nearly 2 seasons at Chelsea, he had no competition. There wasn't another striker. The club was taking their time to get another striker, and he had a free run. So if he's going to expect that, oh, I'll leave Chelsea and go and play as the main man somewhere else, mate, that ain't happening. It's not going to happen at Man United. Hoyland will have a lot to say about that. And if people are going to say, oh, United are going to offload Hoyland, listen, they have big problems trying to offload their players, including Hoyland, because of the wages they're on. Hoyland's on some serious money. Nobody's going to pay that money. And then there's Xerxes as well. So if you are numbering strikers and saying, oh, he is third choice, which I don't think he is at Chelsea, I think he will just be part of the rotation. He's third choice at Chelsea. Well, there's every possibility that he could end up being third choice at Man United. Even if he goes to, yeah, you'd be surprised. Hoyland now is beginning to score goals. And Xerxes will have some. Is it Xerxes? I've forgotten what the name of that guy. Sorry, what's his name?
Preseason.
Well, preseason, postseason, players change. Hoyland is a young player. He's had 1 season at Man United. Sometimes it takes a player a season or two to develop, just like it took Jackson time to develop. Look, I'm just doing devil's advocate here. I'm not a subscriber to this. Oh, let's get rid of him. Oh, let's keep just 11 players at Chelsea and go back to the old days where we had 13 players in our squad and everybody could play every game. Football has moved on from that. And if you at Chelsea uh, have a problem with bringing on quality from the bench, I can assure you, when you line up against Real Madrid and you get the likes of Mbappe and Rodrigo and even sometimes what's the name of that fantastic player they've got? Help me. Vinicius.
Vinicius.
They rotate these guys. Play against Bayern Munich, they rotate. Liverpool, who are looking to bring in Alexander Isak even after getting Ekatike and having Salah still banging in the goals. That's football. So if we are going to have this small mentality and we think it's going to be all sweet and precious, and these players, that we can flog them to the ground because there's no rotation for them, while our opposition are bringing guys off the bench. And remember, there's a 5-man substitution thing now, and that's here to stay, which means really the whole starting 11 talk is neither here nor there. It's irrelevant. You could start, but you probably won't finish in terms of a game. So my mind is, if Jackson stays, happy days. If he goes, well, we're playing one man short. What do we do about it? It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Do we have anybody in our academy that is good enough to step up now that we've sent Gui out on loan? I'm not sure. I saw that academy kid that we're all talking about. Look, it's a big step to come into the first team. It's a big step, and maybe he can for the odd game. Sometimes this is the sort of thing that your stars are born out of. The opportunity is given to them and they shine. But it's a risk, and we've taken many a risk with our squad. Let's just have a season where we are fit, strong, on and off the pitch, and we will do things. We will turn out to be the surprise of the season for many.
100%. So let me read the comments and then we'll continue reading Estevao quotes and we go to the transfers latest news because we just said in a news from David Austin. AB says, thank you, Bobby. We have to be bloody. Also, Richmond Maker says, Newcastle sources are thinking of making a complaint against the Big Six, and Newcastle fans are taking me now very angry with the Big Six. And Newcastle is a small team, so they should stop complaining. If you don't get enough minutes in a Chelsea that has an average of 60 minutes, then you shouldn't be a Chelsea. And then Richmond Mika says, excellent speech by legendary Bobby. And says, Saudi like Wesley Fafana, and that's very interesting. You mean Saudi, maybe? And Jimmy says, I would rather be a man shot than having Jackson. The lab can play 30 games and Petrovic can play 30 games. Both should be available to manage that. Yeah, I mean, this guy is tired of Jason. Who is Sarah back up Salah's back up last year, or Van Dijk, Robertson, Gavin Batch, no stand out back up. I agree with you on that. They had no backups, but at the same time, man, I want us to keep Nicolas Jackson, but at the end of the day, if you don't keep him, that's football, man. We move on. So Estevao says, I think my biggest motivation is to give pride to my family, not title and not achievements, but for my family because I know how much people have worked when we struggled to get where we wanted to go, where our dreams was. So let me just do this. I think it'll be a better way to do this. And then he continues says this. Eden Hazard is one that I watch most at Chelsea. His ace, yeah, man. Eden Hazard, man. Eden Hazard, Garden of Eden. So let me just say the latest news from David Austin, right? Let me do this. I think, guys, we are getting closer to Xavi Simons, but let's see. It says RB Leipzig have contacted Liverpool over the potential signing of Xavi Elliott. Leipzig believe he will be a direct investment for Xavi Simons, who would leave for Chelsea. So, any thoughts, Dante?
Yeah, obviously they're looking for someone as well. They need to replace him, but they usually have quite a big pipeline of young academies that come from the Red Bull system, so they're pretty good usually. Obviously, they're looking maybe at Harvey Elliott, another young player, plenty of potential as well. So, and they know if they sign Harvey Elliott and he doesn't have to be that good, but pretty well, they'll sell him for a massive profit back to England after anyway. So they're smart business people, Red Bull. They look at the right profiles. So yeah, look, I think it's inevitable. They're definitely looking for players as well. So just another little sign that this deal will hopefully get done in the next couple of days.
I was going to ask something. I know people don't seem to think it's relevant, and perhaps it isn't. But I get a little bit for want of a better word, nervous when I start hearing all the bids coming in for Sesko, because I'm thinking, if these guys get big money for Sesko, would it make them dig their heels in more for Simons? Although Simons has done a lot of the work for us by insisting he wants to leave.
Yeah, Bobby, no.
Okay.
He's made it pretty clear, hasn't he, that he wants to leave and he's leaving, and they have to sell him. Why? Because he's only got 2 years left on his contract. If he goes into the season, well, then it's danger time for them next season. So this is the time they have to sell him, basically.
Yeah.
And this is what they do. This is who they are. Yeah, this is they signed him on a four-year deal for a specific reason. It was always the plan, I think, to sell him after a couple of years. That was probably Simons' plan as well, most likely, because he's too good to be at in respects to Red Bull Leipzig, he's too good to be there. So I think that was the plan all along. So yeah, he's definitely getting sold now, 100%. You can see the player doesn't want to be there anymore either, pretty much.
What's funny is they see Sesko as more expensive than Simons, so it's not going to affect their valuation because they value Sesko higher than Simons in terms of the price tag. And it's funny to me because Simons is a
Way
fantastic,
better.
fantastic.
Way
Yeah.
better than, yeah, exactly. But look, they have him on the contract. He's from the Red Bull, system. Very different from Simons. They paid 50 million for Simons from PSG, but I think it was always a deal that, like I said, it was a very short-term deal. It was always to just bring him in and we'll make a little bit of money, but we're not really going to him.
Now, Dante, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you right now.
Yeah, sorry, I must have cut out for a second there. Yeah, like I was just saying that they always knew the Xavi Simons deal he won't be there long. It was just a little bit of a stepping stone for him, and they were happy to get a player of that caliber for them to buy. Such an expensive player. I think the record signing. So yeah, for them to pay 50 million for a player, it was 50 million with 30 million add-ons as well. Let's not forget. So for them to get a player like that, they really splashed the cash for him because they knew they were going to lose him in 2 years, hence the short contract. I think it was just, let's get that talent in while we can. Stepping stone, they kind of both used each other and they'll make a little bit. They're not going to make much money, Red Bull, which is really surprising on this one because PSG has a clause as well that they're getting some money as well. So yeah, it is surprising that they don't value him
Yeah.
much, much higher. But don't be surprised we buy him, but there'll be a lot of add-ons on there, just like they did the deal with PSG. 30 mil of add-ons they had, PSG had in that deal. So don't surprise, we'll probably get him for that 60, 65, maybe 70, but there'll be like 10 or 20 add-ons. Don't be surprised.
Yeah.
And then big up to Jimmy. He says, I'm heading to bed, lads. Great to watch again. Thanks, Dundee, for the heads up on the show again. And everyone remember, Nicolas Jackson should get Nicolas Jackson gone. Yeah, man. Jimmy.
Yeah. Big up, Jimmy. Thanks for coming around. Yeah. I'll let Tebega know about you a little bit more, and then hopefully you can come on the show next time as well.
Okay, Jimmy. Thank you, Dante. So you have this news on Isa. It says Chelsea players will tell you they appreciate Willi Isa ever presence as he marries his schedule to theirs. He is there for every session, every journey, every game on the pitch for the warm up by the tunnel at full time to shake each player hands as they exit. He is there to listen and talk. Oh man, I think this is a fantastic signing by Chelsea Football Club. Whoever came up with these ideas, I think it really worked out. And remember, Dante, we talked about this one. I said he's better fit than the other guy we signed under Mauricio Pochettino. Remember the old guy that we signed under Mauricio Pochettino? That never worked out. So this one, I think is the perfect signing for Chelsea. So what are your thoughts, Bobby, about this one? Because you were mentioning him before. We think about Nicolas Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, we can't ignore that this guy is some sort of influence in that dressing room. Um, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. There is a definite change in the attitude of the players, and certainly around the time they were about to face PSG, um, there was a sort of there was a swagger about the team, an attitude, a cold-minded confidence. That final, when you saw them getting off the bus, coming for the warm up, everything about the aura of the team was, we've got this. And for the captain to turn around and say, we're going to win, that's quite a bold statement. Now, you could say that that it was easier for them to have an attitude because of how the world and his dog was writing them off. But remember the age of these players, and these players had an attitude of success towards the end of the season. I mean, we forget quite easily. Chelsea's running for the season, for what we wanted to achieve, was much harder than the rivals around us. The pundits were saying, "Oh, we don't fancy Chelsea. The top five spots will go to you get Newcastle, Villa, and Forest." They wrote us off. In the end, not only did Chelsea become fourth, uh, but clear fourth. We didn't rely on anybody for anything. Unlike Newcastle, when coming in fifth, they had to look at results around them. We were clear, and we were only 5 points short of second, is it third place Arsenal? And second place Arsenal. What are we saying? And you look at the season, how it ended, the mentality it took to navigate those games the way we did. There's got to be something extra that came into that dressing room around the players. Now, I'm not there. I don't see the work of Willi Isa, but I can assure you that from what I see, from what I hear, and the fact that it is evident, you saw him at the celebrations when we won the Club World Cup. You see him lurking around the tunnel. You see him on the bench. You see him. This guy's in the ear of these boys, and we have to remember these are boys. You speak to them like a father. You encourage them like a father, and they will go out there because they don't have they have the what shall I say, the courage of youth. They will go out there and express themselves. So I'm glad he's in our backroom staff. I hope he stays there. Will it always be smooth sailing? Yes, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. That's how a football season goes. But if you have somebody there to be able to help you keep your winning mentality, keep your determination, I think it can only help us. So I'm glad that whoever brought him, Willi Issa, brought him in.
100%. Dante, anything like to add?
Yeah, look, a lot of people didn't know him at all. I knew him very well because obviously, he's a rugby league player, and rugby league is one of the top sports in Australia, as well. So, and he did start. He lived in Australia pretty much a lot of his life. He lived up. Uh, he played for one of my teams that I supported actually, so that's why I know him very well. He's even when he's sort of getting a little bit older, when he's finishing, he's always been one of those leaders, a bit crazy, but very unorthodox. The way he leads and does stuff, but it's always worked at all the teams he's been at. He's been a massive success, and now he's taken over that, doing that off the field after he finished his career as well. So, uh, yeah, look, I knew when he came in that this guy's gonna fit in very well with those type of guys. They will really make him into believing stuff, mentality monsters, because he's a mentality monster himself. he'll really push that. He studies every single player. He's got his little notepad. You see him in that picture there, the little notepad and his pen. He's always sitting around watching. Then he writes stuff down. Then he goes talk to the players, gets to know them off the field very well. He goes out with them. He does absolutely everything with them. And that is just his way of doing. Like I said, he created this system after he stopped playing. He wanted to help young players. He did that a lot in his career, and he wanted to do the same after. And he's built a very successful business doing it. So he's one of the best. And this just goes back to Clear Lake. They're trying to get even the guy that came before. Yeah, he was old. That's probably why he didn't fit in that well. But he was a very reputable, known, person as well. That type of thing as well. But it's basically Clear Lake trying to put every tool, getting every tool available to make sure there's success. Either way, they're trying to find it in little ways like this. There's another way, getting the best equipment in the world. There's only 2 gyms in the world that have this certain equipment, which is by far the most expensive and the best in the world. And the Clear Lake got that equipment. They put it into the change rooms as well. Little things like that. They always try to improve. They invest. They spend money because they know you have to win and you have to be successful for it to get anything back. And that's exactly what they're doing, and it's been working very well. And this is just one of those examples. They're looking for tools to make the team better, to make the club better, and it's all good intentions. And people need to start seeing that more, because they just think, everyone just laughed when we signed this guy. Why are we getting a rugby league player? Blah blah blah, laugh. Clear Lake clowns, blah blah blah. Well, hopefully some people start realizing they're just looking for a way to try to improve and make the team better and get those players, get their mentality right, make them into winners. And I think, they've kind of done that. I think, like Bobby said, the mentality changed quite a bit, especially in that Club World Cup. You saw the mentality. We never heard him say that before. We never heard Reece James talk like that before. Some of those players, the way they said. So I'm very, very certain that Willi Isa had a very big part into that, because he's been given free reign to get those players, build their mentality up and make them into mentality monsters. So, well done to everyone involved.
And also, Dante, all these people going around saying, "Oh, Clear Lake, they don't want Chelsea to win. They just want to make money out of the club, yada,
Yeah,
yada, yada." These guys are heavily investing in winning. They want to win. And what we're
correct.
beginning to see is that they don't want any short term winning that, every season you have to start looking for the next top player to keep you up there. No, they're creating a machine that will sustainably
Sustain
be
success,
winning.
correct.
You know,
Not
I,
once
I
every 4 years, correct. Yep.
yeah, I think it's time now the fan base just get on board and just get behind these people. It's not easy what they're doing, but I think they've shown us enough signs to stop attacking them.
Yeah, I've seen it from a while away, but it's fair enough. Some people didn't see it and they criticized. That's fair enough. But I think by now you should see it very clearly. But the problem is they still don't. And the problem is a large percentage of that are season ticket holders and people very close to the club, which is a big, big shame, because they go to every single game and they just look for little reasons to have a go at them, even now, even after doing this. So hopefully that somehow changes. But hey, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, I think the only way that changes is, more success, but also getting a bigger stadium, better stadium, getting some new people in there and changing that atmosphere a bit, because a little bit of a culture, as you know, some little pockets are a bit of a culture, unfortunately. So that will never change. The only way to change that is to actually move from there, or new stadiums. The little ticketing change has made a big difference. Actually, I saw a lot of season ticket holders, especially the ones that hate Clear Lake and hate Maresca. They're not getting tickets anymore. They're not going anymore, and I saw them complaining quite a lot. It's a shame for some of the true supporters that missed out, but there's a good percentage of those haters that are not going to these games anymore. For me, that's a win. I think that's good.
Yeah, I have to
Yeah,
agree. I have to agree.
100%. Richmond Maker says a few Champions League clubs want Jorgensen, but you have said no, according to sources. I think, I mean, no need to sell him. And then Chelsea are clever. There's no way we're going to sell this guy. This guy, for me, if I have to choose between him and Sanchez, I would choose him because he's so comfortable on the ball. With Sanchez, sometimes it's always panic. But with Philip Jorgensen, I think is a fantastic ball playing goalkeeper. So no way we're going to sell him. So now I'm going to talk about a player that Charles don't really like, and that will change eventually. So it says Chelsea aim to move forward with Alejandro Garnacho conversation with the players. Uh, outrage taking place. They will meet again this week. The player wants to join the London Blue. So I'm gonna start with you, Charles, since you ran away. What are your thoughts about this? So I already given up that Garnacho will most likely come to Chelsea.
Yeah, so it does it does seem like we really want him. Um, the sporting directors seem to want him. The scouts probably recommended him. Maresca has probably also opened doors for his potential arrival. So everything here is going in that direction. I still don't want him. I think he's not the right player. He's not the right fit for this squad. First of all, like I keep talking about, for what we are trying to build, the culture that we are trying to build, it would be disruptive. I think he's a kid who isn't patient. I think he's a kid who's going to, uh, is going to sulk when things don't go his way. So I don't want him in the squad for that reason. I think for this squad, for what we are trying to do under Maresca, players that are not starting need to be patient. We saw how we were crying about Andre Santos, Mino Maresca. Adeka seems to have a plan for him. So Ganacho doesn't strike me as the patient type. He's someone who's going to start dropping hints and hints on social media. He's been doing that at Man United. They just don't care because he's not in their plans. But he's been doing all kinds of things on social media, trying to hint at a potential move, trying to hint at his unhappiness at the club. So do we really need that at Chelsea? We hate Renato Vega who
Charles, you mean
who
like
just
Hato does and Xavi Simons is doing? You mean like that? The same?
it's not the same. Xavi Simons, Xavi
How is it not
Simons,
the same?
it's not the same. Xavi Simons posting under this guy who Jorel Heto's post congratulating him. I mean, is this Dutch mate? I don't see it as the same thing.
Oh,
The
and taking
the
Red Bull
removing
Leipzig from his bio off his bio and posting
yeah,
pictures with
that
the Cold Palmer celebration.
That looked a bit strange, but at the same time, we don't know. This deal might be wrapped up already, and he might be doing that because he's essentially a Chelsea player now. So we don't know where the deal is at this stage. We just know they are in advanced negotiations and all. But for Chelsea to get so comfortable and start selling players before completing that deal, I think they've got it under control. We've obviously got a fantastic relationship with Red Bull.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Garnacho, he's been doing that for for a year actually. For a
Do you know
year,
how
he's
many
been
times he's done that, Charles? Do you have a number? Do you know how many times he's done that?
I know it's multiple times. It's multiple times. He's
So
done that
yeah, I'll tell
under
you.
right.
In 3 years, it's been nearly like 5 or 6 times. Do you think that's worrying? Him liking a post here and there in 3 years' time, 5 times.
I think it's more than 5 times. And that's just what we see on social media. Like I said, he also strikes me as a kid who will sulk, who will not be patient. And I also don't like that the club is going for a player who's been dropped for a poor attitude before. I don't think we should be doing that in the first place. He's been dropped for a poor attitude before alongside Rashford. So that alone is also a negative for me.
Like
So
Anthony, Rashford, yeah, you're right. Anthony, Rashford, Sancho,
yeah,
all of them, yeah, yep.
for showing a poor attitude, they have been dropped for that. So I still think that's just the off-field stuff. On field, I don't think it beats his man enough. I don't think his decision making in front of goal is good enough. I think the kid thinks he's better than he actually is. I think his idea of himself in his head is actually much better than the player that he actually is, and that probably is what makes him do all this kind of nonsense with his brother. So I don't see the upside to a Garnacho deal. I see it not working in a year or two, a two at most. But I'd see it not working in a year, and I see us selling, looking to sell again, and then for probably a profit on the books or something. But I don't think he makes it here. I don't think is good enough, and I don't think mentally is got the right mentality.
Charles, let me ask you something. Before that, guys, if you're watching, please kindly like and subscribe to the channel. So, Charles, have you watched him under Eric Ten Hag?
Yes, I did
Sorry,
watch
guys,
him
I
on
need
that.
to just go and make a quick cup of tea. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay, no
Okay,
problem, Bobby.
Bobby.
So, Charles,
Yes,
answer that. Have you watched him under Eric Ten Hag?
yes, I watched Garnacho under Eric Ten Hag. And I'm not saying he's totally useless. He's totally a shit player. No, I like Garnacho's ability to get in good positions in the box. I think he moves well in the box. He finds good spaces in the box to 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 take his shots. I think he rushes some of these shots. I think his execution, particularly in those areas, is poor. But I like his movement in the box. I think he gets into dangerous positions quite well. I think his goal and assist record in the last 2 years is really good. So there's something to build on in terms of that, because I like players that can get into good positions and score goals. I like players like that. And that's an aspect about him that I like. He can score a goal. He can create an assist. He moves really well inside the box. He finds good spaces, and his finishing is not half bad. But other attributes, obviously, they are not good enough, and I don't think he has the right mentality to develop into the player that we think we are buying, and I don't think he makes it here.
I'm glad I was able to change your mind really quick, and you fell for that. Dante, what are your thoughts
No,
about?
you changed my mind. You didn't change my mind. I just said one aspect that I like about him, but obviously it's not enough.
Yeah,
So
look, the stuff he says, yeah, there's obviously some truth to that, of course. Yeah, but look, under Ten Hag, yeah, he was 18, sorry, 19, 18 years old, 19 years old. You know, he's 20, just turned 21, I think. So under Amarim, different system, doesn't play with touchline wingers, hasn't done as well, but he still did not too bad. Obviously, he fell out at the end with Amarim, like most players did. Amarim came in, shook up everything, and changed a lot of ways, and he doesn't fit that system. So that's why he hasn't been played very well, that good this season. And even then, he still did okay in a lot of situations. Let's not forget he cooked us pretty bad as well when he played against us as well. So yeah, look, he's still a very young player. Uh, a lot of potential. when he played under Ten Hag, he actually made the Argentinian national team. He was playing it's the senior football for the Argentinian national team. So, yeah, his future was very bright. Unfortunately, new system, new coach hasn't worked out. Yeah, he's done a couple of things, online. His brother, his 16-year-old brother, by the way, like who cares what his 16-year-old brother does in his free time? He can do what he wants. He's a kid, 16. You can't blame a 16-year. Yeah.
What his brother does on the internet, I think it will just bring more hate from him, from a toxic fan base. Remember, our fan base is really, really toxic.
Yeah, I agree with that. But people have looked at his 16 years old. It's a kid. Like, come on. He's not even an adult yet. Like, why are people taking what a kid says so seriously? Like,
and Chelsea fans win.
yeah,
And
but it's
also,
just silly to me. That's very silly. Just my personal opinion. And even like I said, he's messaged like 5 or 6 times. Some post here, there is liked. Even Garnacho was a kid. He still is basically in a lot of countries. He's still underage. He's so yeah. Look, he's only going to get better. But one thing I do trust Enzo Maresca. If he wants him, I back Enzo Maresca with that. I trust Enzo Fernandez. Will keep him in line because he looks up to Enzo Fernandez a lot. They spend some time together quite a bit, and he looks up to him. Caicedo, Cucurella, all these other Spanish-speaking players, they will keep him in line. But of course, Maresca, his assistants, they will keep him in line. If he does anything, he'll be out straight away. And like you said, you did mention it, we'll probably sell him and make a profit on him. So, but first of all, when if he comes to Chelsea and he puts on that Chelsea shirt, people need to support him from day one. You can't be this immature, a lot of people are, and just say no, 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 he's so bad, this. Well, he hasn't committed any crime, he hasn't done absolutely anything. It's just football, and he's still very young. If he joins Chelsea, you need to support him from day one. If he acts up and does something later on, of course, everyone's got a right to have a go at it, have a go at him. But till then, everybody should be supporting that player from day one, because that means the coach wants him, the other players want him. They would have spoken to him, and then he knows what the plan is. So if he comes and acts up, have a go of him. But if he comes, please support him from day one, because he'll be a Chelsea player. So don't do this what other fan bases do. And like Madueke, very much what happened to Madueke at Arsenal as well. So support the player from day one. If he acts up and he does something later on, okay, it's fair enough. But till that happens, you got to support the player from day one, 100%. Back him.
Yeah. We actually established that in the previous stream. Yeah, that every player who comes should be supported. At the end of the day, we are fans of the football clubs. Players come and go. We are fans of the football club. And Garnacho comes, we'll back him. I want him to prove me wrong, actually. I want him to do well and prove me wrong, because it benefits Chelsea, and Chelsea is what I love.
Chelsea wins, correct. Yes. Very well said.
Yeah.
A little bit like Bobby with KDH.
Exactly. Oh man. And Dante, another thing, right? The time we were signing Joao Pedro, I've saw some tweets from our own Chelsea fans talking about he was dating a 16-year-old. Like, really? Like, was that
when he was
necessary?
18 or something. Yeah, he
He
was
was
19,
18,
18 or 19 at the time. Yeah, just stuff like that comes up, unfortunately. If people have an agenda, and there is one big problem with our club, that is the ones that have an agenda with Clearlake and Maresca, etc. There's still a lot of them around. So they will always say something, do something, look for something, bring something up, no matter what we do, because the hate is too strong, unfortunately. And well, I don't see them as true supporters. Other people do, but I don't see them supporting the club. I think they're being very selfish. So they're always going to look for something wrong, even if we succeed like we have, and even if we keep succeeding, they've already said it doesn't matter. They will still do that. So hopefully we get rid of those guys somehow. But like I said, we'll
100%. Bobby, are you back? Okay, let me just address this. We're waiting for Bobby. Says Al-Nassr Mina will be sent on loan. Teams in Europe have made an inquiry. So, Dante, for you as a Chelsea fan, where would you like Arsenal Mina to go on loan? Premier League, Championship, Germany, those kind of leagues.
Yeah.
So, what is your most preferred destination for him on loan?
Yeah, not championship. No, I wouldn't go championship. Premier League, yes, I would go. Any of the teams, like I said, some, where we talked about Sunderland and all these teams that are signing some really good players.
Actually,
Someone like
I
that.
think Bournemouth.
A Bournemouth as well because they've lost Hoyson. They're going to lose Zabani probably
Zibani.
as well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I
so
think
that
that would be good.
there would be perfect if they would have him. If not, any top league sort of, I wouldn't send him probably to France. I wouldn't send him to Strasbourg, to be honest. I probably would go somewhere, try to find him a little bit better team. If it's not the Premier League, some of those teams, then if you're gonna go somewhere, find some better teams for him, a better league as well. So preferably, I want the Premier League because he'll to learn the pace, to learn the league, to learn the country, to adapt to that system. That will benefit him greatly. And from what we've seen the last few loans and a couple of sales, we're looking for that type of loan. So uh, we talked about Guy going to Sunderland and that. Well, yeah, everybody said he's not going to get game time, blah blah blah. Well, it looks like some news just came out that we've actually put a clause in that contract. Like I said, hopefully we did to guarantee us some game time. If not, they will pay up pretty heavily, a big fine. So yeah, so hopefully we can organize something like that for him as well. Like you said, Bournemouth will be perfect, and I think he'll suit the system as well there as well. So yeah, something like that. Preferably the Premier League would be my ideal choice.
No.
100%. Charles, what about you? Where would you prefer to loan Arsenal Mina?
So mean.
I wouldn't loan him in the Premier League. I don't think he would get enough game time there. He's not played a lot of football in the last 6 months. He came in injured from Argentina, then played a few games in the academy, got injured again. So this is a guy in desperate need of game time. So I think a Premier League loan would be a bit of a risk. When talking about other leagues, I'd also go for a league that's got a more a more uh, a more a league that has a bigger emphasis on defense. So I would pick the Italian league. I would pick also the French league. I don't think the Bundesliga is very well oriented in terms of defending. So I'd look at a French or an Italian club. I think if he settles there, maybe a top six club, top six, eight club. I would even consider the Fiorentinas of this world. Yeah, clubs like that, clubs from those two leagues. That's where I would look to send him so that he can pick up his form, start playing his football. He needs to play his football, then see how we go from there. And just before the Gio thing, Dante, the Gio thing, I don't think that clause still means so much for us. I think first of all, it's not a lot of money. I think it's peanuts. And secondly, Guy was signed by Sunderland, and then a few days later, I don't know if it was probably 24 to 48 hours, they were already linked to Lois Openda from RB Leipzig. So that whether they do sign him or they don't sign Lois Openda, That's an indication of the club, of the direction that club is going. That club is signing a lot of players, and it's a huge risk to send your player there. And I don't think that penalty we've inserted in the loan deal guarantees that you get enough game time. I don't think it does much. I think they can bench him and pay the penalty. It's probably under 3 million or something. So I don't think I
Yeah,
still think
that's a
it's a
lot for
bad.
them. That's a lot of money for them. It affects their PSR. Affects. That's on top of the loan fee. Don't forget. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's a lot of money for them. Like probably like 6 million or whatever, all up. That's a lot of money for them. They can't afford to get that wrong, unfortunately. So yeah, I know the Penda stuff, but that's just a rumor. They can't afford a Penda. Penda's expensive. They won't be able to buy a Penda. I doubt that very much. I don't think they're buying a striker, to be honest. I think they've got their two main strikers. I don't see them buying a striker.
Yeah, and also with Openda, right? From Fabrizio Romano, I think last year or 2 years ago, he was
He's
saying
not
that
going to a Sunderland, no.
it's going to worth around 60 million euros if you sign him. For
Exactly.
example, what do you think they're going to pay 60 million euros for him? Also, do you
And he's
think
too good of a
Openda?
player. He wants to go to a bigger club as well. He wouldn't go to a club like
Exactly,
that.
exactly. That's another thing. Do you think Openda will leave Leipzig to Sunderland?
but
I
I
think that is a
but I think they'll go for another striker. I really do. I really do think
bro.
they want
Come on, be
more.
positive. Be positive.
Yeah, no negative energy. Stop pushing negative energy. Positive energy, please.
I just wish to another club where I could play. At the end of the day, I just want a player, to get good minutes because he's a promising player. We got him from Barcelona. I would want him to get good minutes and get reintegrated into the team. So it's not about being negative. I just want the player to get good minutes, and I don't think Sunderland
What
was the
about good
right one.
money? You talked about getting good money earlier. Why not good money now?
I don't think we're getting good money. We're talking under 6 million. Is that worth wasting a year of a player's development? I don't think it is.
We got him for free.
Yeah, exactly. it's
We
That's a
got him
lot of
for
money.
free. That's profit.
That looks very good on the books.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, whatever happens, I think we are good. And also, Mark is still young. If Sunderland doesn't work out, we can still recall him in January and
Exactly.
loan
He's
him
young.
to
He's
another
19.
team.
So
Yeah,
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 I'm sure
yeah.
Chelsea will recall him probably. They'll let him pay that fine and then they'll recall him and send him somewhere else. But you'd think
Exactly.
they've learned the lesson, like we talked about last time. You think they've learned the lesson. Hence, they put that clause in there uh, to push these teams. It might not sound a lot, but for Sunderland coming up, 6 million to go on their books, and for PSR that's a lot of money for them. So yeah, I don't think they could be playing around with that. To be honest, they can't afford to do that.
Let's see how
100%.
it
So
will.
yeah, so Chelsea are still working on sales of Raheem Sterling, Ben Chilwell, Renato Vega, Carney Chukwuemeka, Axel Disasi. They want to get their situation resolved before entering the final week. So, do you think, guys, especially, I'm not worried about um like likes of Renato Vega, Carney Chukwuemeka, and maybe Disasi. But the main issues is Raheem Sterling and Ben Chilwell. They are on high wages. Do you think we're going to get money from them this summer, Dante?
Yeah, very hard. Like I keep saying, it's good that some clubs are looking at him, like Fulham was reported that looking at him. But I mean, I don't see how Fulham can afford Sterling. To be honest, even if they don't, even if you give him to them for free, they still can't afford him because there's no way they can pay his wages. Only if we have an agreement with them that we pay half the salary, and then but there's no point doing that. We're trying to sell him, but good luck to us selling him. I do not see us selling him. If we do sell him to any club, doesn't matter if it's for 1 million, 2 million, 10 million. Like, I think the sporting directors need a statue raised at Stamford Bridge. That's how important that will be if they can do that, and Ben Chilwell as well. They'll need a statue. You can never criticize them ever again, Tobago. So yeah, that's how important that, if they can do that. That's, yeah, it's pretty doubtful. It's going to be very hard to move that guy because of his salary, and that the fact, look, we can probably sell him for 10 million, 15, but he will never agree to a club to reduce his wages. He'll want us to pay those wages out, and there's no way we're paying, like, it's still over 30 million we owe him, mid 30s or something. We're not going to pay him out. We're not. We just wouldn't do that. I don't see us doing that. I'd rather still loan him out and reduce that cost lower and lower till his contract runs out, basically, if we can't sell him. So yeah, it's gonna be very, very hard. Carney pretty much almost done. I think he'll be definitely gone. Disasi will definitely be gone too, no problem. We'll get a not bad fee for that. Vega will give him a massive profit on that one. So yeah, it's just those two really. Chilwell probably still a little bit easier because he's only got a year and a half left on his contract, so that makes things a little bit easier. Sterling still got over 2 years left, so 2.5, I think, or something like that. So that's too hard to. We can't pay that one out. Chilwell, they might be able to work something out. Again, it depends on Chilwell as well, but if not, you might still be able to sell him like a really low fee because his salaries, there's a big difference between 200 and 325. There's still a big difference. So yeah, Sterling is the problem one, definitely. Yeah.
Charles, what about you? Do you think we can sell those two players?
Extremely difficult to move on, to move Sterling on. Um, is not willing to lower his wages. That's the sticking point of any potential sale. So I think he is not happy with the club, the way he's been treated. I think he didn't expect to be, kicked out of the team and loaned out like he was. So, so he's carrying a bit of that, and I don't think you is going to make it any easier for him to for us to sell him. So it's a really really complicated situation. He's on 325K, and it's not about finding suitors. There are a lot of suitors. It's about him actually trying to agree to lower his wages because I don't think anyone's paying him that. And um, surprisingly, no Saudi clubs have come in for him and maybe offered him that kind of money because that they are the only clubs, as well as maybe the MLS club.
Yeah, because they know Charles. He's made it very clear publicly he would not move to Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah. I think he's unwilling to move to Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
So they already know there's no point trying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for that. So it's difficult. It's difficult. Just like you mentioned, it's difficult. As for Ben Chilwell, Ben Chilwell's problem is a bit different from Sterling's. His problem is suitors. Is not fielding as many suitors as Sterling is. So I think when we get just a few suitors for him, I think we can be able to work something out. His wages, I checked when I checked, they were like 195. I don't know if it's 225, but they are something we can work something out with the club, and the player is not like Sterling with that mindset. He's a bit more willing to actually move on and relaunch his career. So it's a different situation. I think we can move Sterling on, and we can move Chua on, and Sterling will be more complicated. When it comes to other players, expecting 30 to 40 million for Renato Vega, expecting maybe 20 to 25 for Disasi. Carney Chukwuemeka is in the final stages. Same can be said of the likes of Broja. So I have to commend the club, the sporting directors. They are doing brilliantly on that front. We are selling a lot of players for good money, actually, better money than a few Chelsea fans expected. So we're doing really, really, really good on that front, and it's important. It's important. Bobby, I don't know, Bobby, is he still back? It's
Yeah, yeah, I'm
mad.
here. I'm here.
It's very,
I'm
very
here.
important to sell these players that we are not using. So I think we're handling this uh extremely, extremely well. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, um, excuse me, Ben Chilwell and Sterling. They're both in the final 2 years of the monster contracts that they have. Um, it's not easy to sell them, but it's easier to sell them. Um, People forget that we are owned by some very, very shrewd and effective businessmen. These are money people. They are money. They know, they're versed in the art of the deal. They're versed in buying and selling and negotiations. That's their expertise. Now, I'm not saying I'm an expert in negotiations, but I'm very, very sure that at this point, any sale of Sterling, for example, the fact that his wages will need to be covered will be knocked off the price. For example, if there is £2 million worth of wages that is being paid to him for the rest of his contract, that will be knocked off the buying price of the player, which means he's going to go at a very low price. Will the club be able to cover him that? Well, that's part of the negotiations. Chelsea could say to them, look, for example, we can sell you, we value him at 12 million. He has £2 million worth of wages left. We can give you this player at, let's say, 8 million, and you cover those 2 years of his wages to bring it up to buying him for 10 million, as it were. There's room for negotiations. That's why it's called negotiations. So the idea that some people have given up and they feel it's not possible to shift him, I think it is. I think the club still feels it is. Is just being able to have that negotiation in place that covers all bases. Fulham may be able to do that if you take off a certain amount off the asking price. A lot depends on what they value the player as. If, for example, they come in and they say, "Hey, look, we want Sterling. We value him at 4 million," for example, and the club could turn around and say, "Right, okay, well, we don't value him at 4 million, but he has £2 million worth of wages left. We can give you this player at 4 million, and you cover those wages for him when he comes to you." So in that way, you're negotiating to get rid of the player. You're negotiating for some sort of fee, and you're encouraging the player to be able to leave because whatever income he's getting may still be sustained. This is all hypothetical examples, but I'm just saying that there is negotiations to be had even with these somewhat difficult sales. Is just finding a willing club. And coming to that topic of a willing club, you know, since January, Chelsea fans have been going on about, oh, Nkunku's going in the summer. Nkunku's going in the summer. Well, it's all very well saying that, but Nkunku is also not on peanuts. And you've got to have a club wanting to take Nkunku. People are saying, "Oh, Nkunku is going to Bayern Munich," especially now they're without Musiala. And yeah, I mean, Charles, you just mentioned a bloated squad. Bayern Munich have a lot of players. They have a lot of players. So just throwing in Nkunku in his what's he on? Is it 178k a week? It's not that easy. So all these people hoping for Nkunku to leave, it's not quite that simple, and it has to be where he wants to go. For example, Leipzig will like him back, but he going back to Leipzig, sorry, Leipzig. Uh, I suspect for him is a backward step. Bayern haven't really made any noises in his direction for a while. Then there's talk of Inter. Well, Italian clubs are all broke ass clubs right now anyway. They're looking to shaft people for players. When was the last time an Italian club really paid any decent money for anybody? So I think of all the players to offload, he might prove to be the most difficult. One, because he has a playing value still, and two, he's on wages, and clubs may not want him because of this demand for, oh, it's a World Cup year, I want to be a starting guy. That doesn't happen in big clubs. This is what I was trying to tell you, Charles. Wherever he goes, he's got to find himself fitting into at least some sort of rotation. Even if he goes and he is filling a vacancy, if it's a top club that he wants to play in and they all want to play in, he's not going to be the main and only man. And no club is really going to be able to take on that added personnel with that sort of wages. So, I used to tell people, I said, look, don't be surprised if you see the start of the or the end of the transfer window, Nkunku still being here and not really being able to offload him till about January time. He looks like a January sale to me, because then clubs may have injuries, suspensions, and then the vacancy and the need for him will be escalated. But right now, as a summer sale, I don't know. I'm beginning to have my doubts about him. So let's see what happens. The ownership have done well with selling, but they've done all the easy sells at the moment. Everybody's going to want a Ugochukwu, for example, young, dynamic midfielder who did quite well last season. Everybody's going to want an Armando Broja, for example. Although he has injuries, Armando Broja has huge potential. But these ones, it's going to be interesting. I think they'll shift them, but I still say watch this space. Don't be surprised if Nkunku doesn't go anywhere this summer and maybe a January sale.
Yeah, no, this is fun right from Talksport. Says Scott Minton, Chelsea transfer business. They have good. They have got the best accountant in the world. I thought Daniel Levy was pretty good, but this one is hell of a lot better. Tanti, bro, what do you thought about this? You see now they undermined us, but now it seems like they're getting the idea what is happening with this model. We are so good, man. I can't believe it that we are. If you manage to sell like the SARS, those all those players, I think you're going to get almost 40, not 40, 400 million euros, if I'm not mistaken. For example, Jackson, Disasi, we still need to sell Sterling, Renato Vega is still there, Carney, bro.
Renato
That's
Vega is the one that surprises me. I thought he was a player in demand. I don't know what's going on there because since the Atletico Madrid deal fell through, I don't know of anybody that's queuing up for this geezer. Unless you know more than I do, I don't know what's going on there. I think we'll
There's
sell
rumors,
him.
there's rumors of Al-Nassr working
He
with.
won't go to Saudi. You
Now he's
reckon he'll
still
go to
young.
Saudi
He might. You never know what
because
Ronaldo
of
said.
Ronaldo?
He wants him.
Felix, Ronaldo, yeah, and he'll guarantee him that he'll still keep his place in the national team, so there'll be no
Okay.
problem.
Yeah, let's see what happens. So Dante, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, well, they're in their element now, aren't they? This is what they were known for. This is what they were very good at and known for at Brighton. At where's the other one came from? Sorry, I forgot. Um, where's the other one? Brighton
Brighton,
and
Monaco.
Monaco. Yeah, both very, very good selling clubs.
Yeah,
Always been very good at it. So selling is their DNA. That is their, and you can see their talents in selling. They're amazing at it. Probably the best, I think, by far in the Premier League. So, if not in Europe, to be honest, one of the best. So, yeah, look, they're in their element. They're doing what they know really well. It took them a little while to get the buying side of things right. They eventually got that. The selling never been a problem and it never will be a problem. Yeah, so they're in their element, like I said. They're comfortable doing that. They know how to do it well. So they've got the contacts, they've got the connections, and yeah, and they've made a lot more new contacts and connections now as well. So yeah, they're only going to get better and better. Like I said, if they manage to sell Sterling, Chilwell, all these other players, they need a statue at Stamford Bridge. The sporting directors, because if they manage to get those off the books and make money on those somehow, yeah, well then that you got Tobago cannot talk one bad word about them ever again. Tobago. So yeah, look, hopefully that happens. I think Bobby said that earlier. That's the real test to try to get those two off, and I think that's a great. I think they'll be looking forward to that test. I think they'll love something like a challenge like that. So, yeah, we'll see what happens if they can get those really hard ones off the books. They tried, of course, last year, couldn't get it, but hey, got the next best thing. We still got loans. We still got Chilwell's wages paid. Sterling's nearly all of his wages paid as well. So I think no, was it all? I think it was 75 or something like that, 80% or something. So yeah, look, we still got pretty good money. And like I said, the deal for Mark Gee that we just sold to Sunderland, we're selling to Sunderland. Sorry, we're loaning to Sunderland. Well, you didn't hear that, Bobby. Yeah, so they've added a clause in there that if he doesn't play enough minutes, Sunderland need to pay a penalty fee on top of the loan fee.
Yeah, I saw that. That's a good move.
So that's a great move. I mean, just in case they don't, uh, like Charles was saying, it's not that much. Well, 2 to 3 million extra on top of a 2 to 3 million loan fee already. That's a lot of money for a Sunderland to go on their books and PSI and stuff like that. They can't play around with that stuff. So hopefully that helps us, and he gets to play a lot more minutes because of it. So again, they've learned from last time. Obviously, like I talked about, they learned a bit about Santos. That they're not going to let these players go to Premier League clubs unless they add a clause in there now. So, yeah, look, you got to commend them, and you got to, like I said, build them a statue if they sell Sterling and Chilwell this window.
100%. AB says we currently have 8 forwards, including Nkunku. If any of them leave, we have to sign a replacement. We are in a good place. I think we are going to sign Xavi Simons and Garnacho, Charles Cousins. So let's
Yeah, and
forget
that'll be
about it.
9. Yeah, that's what Maresca wants. Yeah.
Exactly. And also says, guys, have we lost too much physicality with Noni, Mudrik, Sancho all gone? I don't think so. As long as we have physical midfielders, and then also we can see Joao Pedro is actually physical, and Dilep is still there. So
Very physical.
I think we are good.
I think we've gained physicality, to be honest, because Gittins, the way he plays, he's got a very strong core. He's got a very strong running. He's actually more physical than Noni, way more physical than Noni. So Garnacho, if he comes in, he plays actually very physical. He goes in challenges, tackles hard. rides challenges. He likes that type of play, and he's used to it already now, of course. So I think we've actually gained physicality, not dropped in the attacking sense. Like you said, Joao Pedro, very physical, even though he's more of a skinny frame, but he's quite tall and he's very, he's quite physical the way he plays. So yeah, no, I think we've gained, not lost physicality, to be honest.
I agree. I think the strikers that we've signed are actually a physical upgrade on what we had last season
Exactly,
in
especially the
Mount.
lap, of course. Yeah.
Now, since Chelsea have held talks with David Conte over a move for Alfie Gilchrist. And so sad. I thought it worked out, but again, at the end of the day, we all know all of them won't work out at Chelsea. So I think him leaving is the best solution for Alfie.
Yeah, well, he's not going to get in ahead of anyone at the moment, unfortunately. And it's basically would be him or Achapong. And yeah, I think pretty much everyone should be choosing probably Achapong over him. He's got different, different profile, much taller, can run with the ball very well. Alfie will be good. He might be good in the future, but I can guarantee you they would put probably something in his contract just in case. Like I said, they're very good at selling, and they always like to add these little, they like to add these little clauses in there just in case. So if he somehow does make it, and he's good enough and he does shine away from the championship, well then we'll be in. He might come back, but yeah, I just not sure if he's quite good enough at the moment. I think there's better players, way too many better players ahead of him at the moment.
100%.
Well,
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not worked out for him. John Terry actually thought this kid was going to make it big at Chelsea. So the fact that it hasn't gone that way is really unfortunate. I like Alfie. I think he's a good kid. He's a fired up kid. You can see when he's playing that he really wants to do well. So the few appearances that he made for us, I absolutely loved him. He was fantastic. Got a lot of energy. I think wherever he goes, he's going to eventually have a good career. He's going to be a good player. If he ever becomes good enough, uh, hopefully we can put something in his contract that allows him to come back. So yeah, I think the best solution for all parties involved right now is for him to actually leave, but you never know. I actually hope someday he can come back. I really like the kid. Very good player.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's the wrong era for him as well. John Terry likes him because he's just a pure defender, but he's not good on the ball as well. He's got doesn't have hardly any technical ability. In modern football, if you don't have that as a defender these days, well, the Premier League, you have to have that. Championship, you can get away with it, but Premier League, he really needs to work a lot on that. I think that's one of the main reasons he's still not here, because he hasn't got that technical passing ability to do what other defenders do, the more modern defenders. He's still a little bit old school type of defender, just defend, just like you said, really goes in hard, defends, runs hard, tackles hard. But that's not quite what's needed in modern football these days. So hopefully he can improve that. And otherwise, I think he'll be probably a really good championship level player. But it's going to be very hard for him if he doesn't develop that. And it's pretty hard to develop at this age, that technical ability like that. So wish him good luck. But yeah, I think it'll be hard. In my opinion, I think he'll probably end up a championship player, most likely.
100%. Borussia Dortmund remains interested in securing the permanent transfer of Chelsea Carney Chukwuemeka, who spent last season on loan at the Westphalen station. Chelsea have no interest in loaning Chukwuemeka out and would only consider a permanent deal. So, Bob, your thoughts about this?
Um, this is a strange one. It's quite clear there's an effort to get Carney to Dortmund. I'm very happy the club. This season or this summer, one thing I like about the club is that they're not taking any BS. People, because Chelsea is a rich club, we had at the time when we were at the early stages of our building, we had clubs feeling, oh, it's Chelsea, let's get their players for nothing. Oh, it's Chelsea, let's add another two zeros for the players they want. That ship has sailed now. This is a different negotiating Chelsea, and they've told Dortmund, right, you've had your loan period. This guy, you want him, we have to organize a sale. They're not being too harsh. They're negotiating a price, a reasonable price, but it needs to be a permanent sale. And indeed, Chukwuemeka himself would probably appreciate that. Just as Maresca said, he needs to go somewhere where, at this point in his career and the way he plays, he needs to be a little bit of an important player in a team, and he can be. I rate him very highly. I think he's an excellent player. It's so sad that the injury he had stunted his development at Chelsea. If we sell him to Dortmund, I would like the club to put a buyback clause in there. I think he's that good. So let's see what happens. He wants Dortmund. Do Dortmund want to spend money? This is the funny thing. Everybody wants to spend money elsewhere, but but to Chelsea. We're not going to give
Mm.
you our players. These are high quality players. You have to buy them. So let's see. I hope Dortmund, for the sake of the player, I hope they cough up the money and buy him. I don't understand why he's turning his nose up at Leipzig. Leipzig is a good club, a successful club. I think they're in the Champions League as well. So, and a club where he will certainly get a lot of game time and development time, but he seems to be sold on Dortmund. So let's see what happens, really. But so this window, I believe he most certainly will be sold.
Uh, um, we've been talking about that actually. His fixation with RB Leipzig. It's
Oh,
something
by the
that
way, Leipzig are not in the Champions League, Bobby. Sorry to add that. Yeah, they're not. They didn't make Europe.
At all. Well, he was still. It's the same German Bundesliga as Dortmund, and if he goes
yeah,
there, he will be playing more football than at Dortmund.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. He likes Dortmund. I'm just saying, from my point of view, I don't understand the obsession with Dortmund with him. But it is what it is. Let's hope we can do a deal for his sake.
Mm.
Totally agree with you, bro. We've been talking about it. It's not it's something that doesn't make much sense. It's so fixated on Borussia Dortmund, where it didn't get enough game time last season, and they'll probably also sign another player to play in his position. And now looking at RB Leipzig, a place has just opened up for Xavi Simons, and they asked about him during negotiations, and he doesn't want to consider that. I don't think the people around him are advising him well. I think his fixation with Dortmund might not turn out to be good for him, might cost him minutes. So it's something that doesn't make sense. I hope he had reconsidered, but it seems he hasn't. And now Leipzig seem to be looking in the direction of Harvey Elliott. So I think it's a missed opportunity for him. And we'll see. We'll see. All the best to him if he goes to Dortmund. Hope he gets the minutes that he feels he'll get. But it doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't.
100%. Anything to add, Dante?
No, pretty much it. Look, he just hasn't had a run at it. He's been injured at Chelsea, at Dortmund. He's been injured everywhere. He just hasn't. That's why Dortmund were a bit reluctant to buy him. They wanted another loan, maybe to look at him again to see if he can actually stay fit. So yeah, look, it's unfortunate. Like Bobby said, they probably will add something in the contract. Again, like I said, these directors are so. They still rate him, but it's just those injury that have ruined him, unfortunately. So they probably will add something in there just in case, because he's still very young. He can still, obviously, he's very technical. He's tall. He's physical. So he's a very good all round player. But yeah, he's really not much room at Chelsea to come back and actually play, especially that because he's really only a 10 in my opinion. That 10. Midfield area that where Palmer is, obviously if Xavi Simons comes in, Estevao can play there. It's very hard for him to actually get minutes. So yeah, the right decision. Sell him, add a little clause in there just in case, and that's best for everyone involved. Good luck to him as well.
100%. So guys, anything like to add before we wrap it up?
All good.
All good. I guess this is it. Thank you, Dante, Bobby, Charles, for joining. AB on the chat, Rich Money Makers. We had Jimmy. We had AB. I think I'll just call him again. We had Black O2K. I appreciate you guys. Even you're seeing Update Charles. Hopefully tomorrow can do another stream. I'll let you know if I get time. So Update Charles. Peace.
Lose the
Peace
color.
out. Take care, guys.